The name is like your fingerprints. It encodes all of your life missions, but there's a lot till we get there. Each number has a meaning, and multiple meanings show the complexity. Like numbers are all ones and zeros, English is all I's and O's, and you can see 9 is a master number, and it's even a double 9. So picture all these guys as little people, and these are the little feet, and these are the little hands. And also picture anything above the top middle line is the heavens, and anything below is the earth. So the G, or 7, brings God down to us, and anything round is feminine, and straights are masculine, and levels God out and the middle, in between heaven and earth. And like the K is kicking and killing, and the L is laying down and loving. And the M is the two systems. The M is the middle of the entire alphabet. And the N is just half of an M, just like the V's and the U's go in harmony. And anything that dips below the line gets right down into the earthly, the ground. And if it's a God, it brings stuff up, just like God brings down. He also comes and brings from the lowest spots. We see tons of association with each one of these numbers, and actually a little bit of harmony of how they look. And the big thing is to mature through each number. This is a person, like a baby, like the alpha. They begin, and then they start to crawl, and draw, and all they literally become more and more mature, not just as we grow up, but as adults we go through all this a bunch of times again and again, this pattern of maturity. A 1 is masculine, a 2 is feminine, and it goes on and on. The odds, of course, are all masculine. And especially if a woman has a 2 and a bunch of 2s in her name, or she'll be feminine, super feminine. If a guy does, he'll be feminine too. A woman with a bunch of 1s in her birthday and a bunch of things around her life is going to have a more masculine, and maybe sometimes a contradiction. Because she's trying to be feminine and masculine. Each one of these builds up more and more, because in life we learn 1 angle, and then 2 angles, and then 3 angles. And it could be a job or something where we learn all the angles and finally master the job, and then get to the honorary level where we understand all that. The woman is symbolic of the creation or the church. The male is symbolic of the creator or the government. And so this is, again, like I said, the middle. But there's a lot. These numbers are very significant, and they actually mean W. And these numbers here, they actually mean Z, that it does continue on. These lines are continuations. Check out my other videos on all this stuff. These are people. That's a little person yelling. His feet are together, his hands are up, and he's tripping out. He's yelling. Or he's yelling down to the people. These are little people. And when we see them as little people and little symbols, we can start seeing the R's are running, they're racing, they're raining, they're going in a direction. And we start to see the two directions. Anything this side of the M is more feminine, and anything this side of the M, all this, is more masculine, the government side. And so in general, and then specifically, and we can't get hung up on the meaning of each number, because it's a general meaning, each number. And you'll start to see that 5 is a perfect half. And sometimes you'll see the context that it means the woman half or the male half. But you're always trying to add 5s to get to the 10. Because once the man and woman connect, see that the 8 is the masculine on top and the feminine on the bottom. And it's complete. See, it's got the bottom and the top complete, circled in. And the 9 is the joining of the feminine, the circle, and the masculine. But the 10, they separate apart again and become separate but next to each other. And then the feminine, the O, becomes the 1, and they both become a god and a goddess. And this is maturing on, all throughout the things, and then separation off into more feminine again. And we have to go back and forth. A lot of people's life mission is this, trying to figure out the combination between the red and the blue. And so if we're more masculine, we have to really try to understand the feminine side. And if we're more feminine, the creation, the 6, is man, the creation. And if we're more feminine, we got to try to figure out the blue side, the man. Don't give up on the opposite sex. The shoulder angels, one is the forward and one is the backwards, and it's not necessarily the good or the bad. It depends on the situation. And you have different missions in different names, and there's actually 4 names, so one of these will have a little split in the middle. So the S tries to throw us backwards because it's written from this way in a slow way. The sharp turns are the fast ways. You know, right before we get to the T, which is another God stage like the 9 or the M, it's another huge thing. So once we get to here, we see there is a continuation this way, and there's way more than 26 letters. Hieroglyphics, Egyptian hieroglyphics, and some countries, wink wink, use symbols and can build up numbers way past 26. But 26 is a set, and we see that with the harmony of the reverse order. So the right is religion of the M, and the left of the M is government, more common sense, and we normally go through just magical time before we start to have the common sense. So the whole thing is a progression. But remember, it's the letters are people, and it's whatever way their head is facing, the left or the right, it's they're looking at us. So when you look at, say, a P, this P is looking in this direction, or more the government direction, and the circle is the head on the stick. When you go to the low one, it's the earthly, it's the barely grown, they haven't gotten to the heavens or the higher reasoning. The big B is both, but it still has a backbone of masculinity, the I. Only some letters are pure or feminine. The O encircles, the C eats and cuts. You know, the S is continuation, like a snake. Your first name is your mission from top to bottom, but also in little typologies throughout life. Your middle name is your angel's mission. Your angels have been following you if you're a starseed up to 10,000 years. If just a normal newbie. Angels' lines of families have been following our family lines for 6,000 years. Our family line, too, is in our last name, sometimes divided, but one of these will be divided because every country has a different amount of names, but some will be split somewhere, but everybody has 4 names. Name will have a chiasmic structure or a center, and there'll be many, many ways to figure out the same numbers. And like I said, it's the journey, not the destination. Each one means something that it just went straight down without, everything means something, everything, in many, many things. But we can't get anywhere close to understanding that until we understand each letter and what it actually means. And then we'll see why Marys act like Marys and Karens act like Karens. They're kicking, they're killing, they're, that literally, and then they go, the Marys and the Karens go straight to the base, the heart of the matter, and everything. We are who our name is, and when time we're born, what year we're born, our fingerprints, one thing after another. You also have 2 missions for your life, so you have to do the reverse order and then figure out which one it is. Sometimes all of these will be light in the same order, or sometimes all of these will be dark in the same order. Sometimes we'll have a bad family line, but we'll have a good mission. And we have to figure out our angel's mission because they do our mission and we do their mission. That's just how it works. When we start studying the first 1 to 3 letters out of a dictionary and seeing their meaning, this stuff becomes as easy as ABC, 1, 2, 3. So we're pecking away at these 8 different ways to learn the English language that wasn't taught in school, that'll help you develop deeper thoughts and understand prophecy and life around you and actual words themselves.